My life is in danger, Nnamdi Kanu says from Department of State Services detention. Welcome to the news, and thank you for tuning in to listen. All this inhuman treatment and others are meted out as punishment on Kanu, according to the press release received from his lawyers. Now the news in detail. The operatives of the Department of State Services DSS has confined the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra IPOB, Nnamdi Kanu, to solitary confinement without seeing sunlight for 23 hours a day, Sahara Reporters has gathered. The nation's secret police have also allegedly not allowed the pro-Biafra agitator to change his clothes since he was renditioned in June, and any detainee that exchanges pleasantry with him is condemned to a solitary cell or maximum security punishment. All these inhuman treatments and others are meted out as punishment on Kanu, according to the press release received from his lawyers. The statement was signed by two of Kanu's leading lawyers, Aloy Ejimako and Ifeanyi Ejiofor, and made available to Sahara Reporters on Thursday. In the statement titled Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's detention condition at the DSS amounts to torture, his lawyers also alleged that the DSS officials did not allow him to have a new pair of glasses since they broke into pieces the one he was using during his abduction in Kenya. The statement read, "Our client Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has instructed us to make the following information public. That despite a court order to the contrary, the condition of his detention at the DSS headquarters in Abuja continues to be harsh, degrading, and inhumane. That he is solitarily confined to a very tiny cell 23 hours of the day without access to sunlight and any social interaction whatsoever. He believed that this is aimed at inflicting extreme emotional and mental distress on him and breaking him psychologically. That any detainee who encounters and greets him during the single hour he is allowed outside the cell is promptly put in solitary confinement or transferred to maximum security as a punishment for exchanging mere greetings with him. Because of this, detainees have resorted to avoiding him and exchanging salutations with him, not to talk of any form of social interactions. That since the Nigerian government extraordinarily renditioned him, he has not been allowed a change of clothing, and his Jewish prayer shawls and other religious materials brought to him by his council were rejected and returned. That the DSS has refused to replace his corrective glasses lenses, which were smashed to smithereens by agents of the Nigerian government in the process of the violence they unleashed on him while abducting him in Kenya. This has led to a rapid deterioration of his sight. That he is restricted to meeting with his counsel in an atmosphere devoid of private discussion with his counsel, and he is oftentimes denied perusal of legal documentation his counsel brings him to review. That he is not allowed to sleep with a pillow, and this has led him to developing acid reflux, which comes with acute burning sensation in the chest pains, and extremely difficulty in swallowing. That on the 17th July 2021, one of his lawyers, the undersigned barrister Aloy Ejimako, was detained and interrogated for hours by the DSS when he came to the DSS on visitation to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Mazi Kanu, who witnessed the detention before being led away, was very distressed and alarmed by this incident, and he considered it a brazen act of intimidation of his counsel. That he has to date been denied access to the British consul despite a repeated request to see him, and on the day of his last court appearance, 10th of November 2021, the British consul who was in court to observe the proceedings was intimidated by DSS officers who restricted her from coming close to Mazi Kanu. That to date, the DSS has denied his repeated requests for an independent medical examination to determine the extent of damage done to his body by suspected substance he may have been injected with during this abduction and extraordinary rendition. He has reason to believe that the said injected substance is depleting the potassium content of his body, thus causing him constipation, a feeling of skipped heartbeat, palpitations, fatigue, muscle weakness, spasms, and numbness. That in the circumstance of the foregoing, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu continues to have a persistent and heightened feeling of potent threat to his overall well-being and safety within the DSS facility where he is currently detained. The earlier that these people, I do not know if the DSS here are the people or the judge or Nigerian government as a whole, the earlier that they start knowing that this is not Nnamdi Kanu's fight alone. This man is not fighting alone. You're fighting, it means you're fighting a part of a country that is called Nigeria, and you are still telling that part of a country that Nigeria's unity is not negotiable. Things are not done this way. You don't get to tell someone that you are threatening to kill, that you cannot leave the house. If you stay here, I will kill you. Then allow me leave so that there will be peace. No. You can't do that. You cannot be, what's this quote again? You cannot be an evil person. You cannot be poor and evil at the same time. I mean, it is a taboo. Why? The earlier they start to know that this particular fight is a racial fight. This is not Nnamdi Kanu's fight alone. He has thousands of people behind him. He is representing the Southeasterners. And I keep saying it. You cannot be holding him to ransom, be treating him the way that this document says you're treating him, and you still coming to say that Nigeria's unity is not negotiable. You do not do things. We are still in the democratic system of government, unfortunately. Nigeria is not yet or has not been declared a dictatorship type of government. So why? Imagine that I am in detention and all these things are done to me, and yet I am still going to the courts. What is the fate of the average Nigerian in this kind of a country? What is the case? That means we are completely finished. That is what it means. That you are complaining that one is intimidating you, and you go to court, and fine, your case is finally taken to court. Still, while that case is in court, the intimidation does not stop. This is after you have reported it to the said lawyer. To the said judge. And yet she herself, she keeps, pushing this case. My joy in all of this is nothing is forever. Nothing lasts. She's a judge today. You are in power. You are in the position of power today. It will not last forever. And of course, I will repeat it and I will keep saying it. That as far as you are in power or you are in any position, you know that you will not last forever. When finally the time comes for you to bow out, and you do, just remember that it is the measure that you gave. You cannot run away from it. The measure that you gave when you're in power, when you're in a position, it is exactly in fact, it might even yield more fruit for you. It is like a seed. So after doing all these things, they should know that at the end of the day, they're going to climb down one day, come down from the high horse. And of course, every action has consequences. On this note, we have come to the end of the news. We say thank you for tuning in to listen. Until I come your way next time, enjoy the rest of your day.